Anything. So we just heard this new song, God Can Do Anything.
Yeah.
And we know that truth. If you're a believer, God's always done amazing things. But tell us how this song was birthed.
Well, I'm getting ready to release my new project entitled Elements, celebrating 20 years in the industry.
Come on, man.
Yeah, getting more gray hairs, but that's good. But I realized that it's those elements that allowed us to, like the fire, the wind, the rain. Nice. We experienced all those elements over the years. So it's songs like that on the project. But the one project that stood out is that in this season and this time, is that we give too much power to politics, give too much power to government.
Yeah.
We really need to just remember that God can do anything. So it's a simple message with a powerful undertone to just remind the listener, remind the even if you don't go to church, you just realize that God can do anything but fail. So that's what the message is about. Yeah. And it was taken from the scripture, I haven't seen, ear hasn't heard, neither have entered the heart of man, that God have in store for you. Yeah. The thing is that if we can think about it, it may be too small.
Right.
So we need to expect something bigger than that.
Right.
God big.
That's so awesome. So the album is called Elements. It's coming out later this year. And yes, you heard him say 20 years because most people think you started at Nobody Greater. Let's talk about your journey up to Nobody Greater, which was a huge song. Yeah, huge. Was #1 forever. Not just gospel. Everybody loves that song. Listen, if you having a bad concert, I'm going to sing Nobody Greater.
What you mean a bad concert?
You singing and you singing this new song and they be like, yeah, Shackles. They just want you to move on to the next song.
Nobody Greater.
Nice all over. And their hands go up. So thank you for that. Let's talk about the journey before.
Well, I started it with my church choir, as I've been to music and just writing songs for us on Sunday morning, and never knew those songs would, reach the world, like Only a Test, or My Worship is For Real, and then people started saying, can we record your song? Like, me? Right. So Vanessa Bell recorded my songs, and Bishop Morton and Donald Lawrence, asked me to do a song with certain artists, so it just kind of grew over the years, and I used to actually ask the question, when would be my turn? I was working behind the scenes so much, and I remember being at Stellar Awards as a seat filler. I tell everybody this story because it's really funny. A seat filler is when you sit in somebody's seat till they come back. And you went all black.
Enjoying it.
You just enjoying yourself.
And
they come
tap on your shoulder.
Say, excuse me. Stevie Wonder wants to come back now. George Benson needs a seat.
Yes.
Right.
But it was one year when Richard Smallwood stayed in the back because he sang in the second half, and I sat in the seat the whole night, so I got a taste of how it felt. And I left there, and I just started praying about, what's next, when is my turn. And then, honestly, 2 years later, I was on the stage.
Wow.
I never graced the stage at Stellar Awards. I just, it was just really amazing just to go from that to seat filler to nominations to singing on stage and then to winning several awards a year later. So
to casually hear you say 2 years later, like that's 24 months, that's so many weeks, that's 104 weeks. Like that's easy to say now, but that was a 2 years that you really put in work. What does that remind you of, that 2 years before everything?
You know what, sitting there just realizing not only the work you have to put into it, but the prayers and the meditation time you need just seeking the vision for yourself. A lot of people, walk out this earth being somebody else. Being a copy of their mentor or trying to be who people want them to be. But two things I learned in those 2 years is, number one, who I am in God. Number two is my assignment on the earth. When you walk out your assignment on the earth, you define success, it don't define you.
Come on.
So that's what it's really all about. And Donald Lawrence called me the day after the Stellar Awards, and he said, so how you feel now? I said, well, ain't nobody calling today. So it just goes back to being who God calls you to be.
Exactly.
Because after the TV go off,
Right, it's off. That's what people don't understand. People like, after the Grammys, what, does your water turn to gold? No. I got to get up and go to the bathroom and work again. That's the day after.